I'm sure just generally people who see your artist name, it's American, and Chance the Rapper especially was very confused that you have a KKK in it.
Christian Dior, yeah, knock, got peas at the door, yeah, 30 point gon' score, yeah, I'ma hammer like Thor, yeah, wow, sippin' some oil, yeah, water gon' boil, yeah, big coupe Megazord, yeah, plain paddock is aluminum foil, yeah.
So you may know her from the first season of Rhythm and Flow, her song Who Do You Love, or from her latest release, an album called Coron. Please welcome American to the podcast.
Hey everybody, thank you for having me.
They doubted me and they slept on me and I needed that. Take pride in me because they envy me and I see through that.
So, off the bat, first question I've asked all my guests so far, how did you get into rapping, or was there a moment when you were like, oh, I'm better than most people at this?
Right, so I grew up in church, so I've been singing longer than I've been rapping. But as I got older, I kind of gravitated towards poetry, and I don't know, I think one day something just clicked, and I was like, okay, well, if I can write a poem, if I can sing, then you feel me, like, why not try rapping? So I think I started, like, writing raps when I was, like, a sophomore in high school, but it wasn't until I had went off to college to where, you feel me, at that point, you know, I had been, you know, writing a good amount, and I started to actually feel confident in, you know, the raps that I was writing, and, you know, confident in myself to be able to share my music. So my junior year of college is when I decided, okay, like, I want to share my music with the world.
So there was a while where you started writing first, and then you started actually using your voice and actually rapping and starting to take it seriously.
Right.
So what's the one thing you wish you had known when you started rapping or started taking it seriously?
How expensive music is as a hobby. It's like, I don't know. It's like, of course, you know, I knew I would have to invest money into myself, but, you know, I never really looked at the whole, you know, studio time and beats and videos and cover art. Like, it's so much that you have to pay for it. So if I would have known that, then I probably would have, you know what I'm saying, saved up before I made my debut. Like, I probably would have been more strategic about it, which is why I'm sort of taking a break from music right now. But, yeah, I wish somebody would have told me that.
Yeah, so this is kind of the same question, but what tips would you give people who are just starting to make music or just starting to rap?
Definitely have a plan. I would say be true to yourself, too. If you're riding a wave, I feel like eventually you're going to get lost in the sauce, but if you're true to who you are the entire time, you're going to have people who are, you know, meant to gravitate towards you and be a fan of yours authentically. So I would say be yourself and, you know, have a plan because, like I said, a lot of artists like me, they just jump into it and think that, you know what I'm saying, everything, not that I, you know, thought anything was going to come to me overnight, but I know most people think that, you know, a lot of things come overnight, but you really have to be ready to invest a lot of time and money into it. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I know rap and music in general can be a hard industry to kind of break into or to get your name out there. Is there a certain moment where you just kind of like thought you wouldn't really get big, or you thought you kind of plateaued and thought about stopping music?
No. Honestly, not at all. I think like when I first started putting out my music, I was just putting it out more so for me. Like at that point, it was still a hobby. I was just more so confident enough to put it out there. But because I received, you know, so much feedback that was, you know, positive, I'm like, okay, you know, I think I can do this. And then, of course, you know, I know you probably are going to get into it later, but Rhythm and Flow had came about around the time I was only rapping for maybe 3 or 4 months. And to have something, you know, that major of an opportunity come to me, I feel like that was the reassuring moment, like, okay, this is the right path that I should be on.
So Rhythm and Flow came very early in your music career.
So yeah, since then I've just been, you know, on go mode. Like,
we've I'll kind of touch on this later, but Rhythm and Flow, I didn't know how early in your career it was. If you had more time, or if you didn't now, do you think you would have done better on the show?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, in life or for music, is there one specific person who has helped inspire you or helped you really like start giving your all to music?
Mac Miller. my biggest inspiration, especially when it comes to me both singing and rapping. I feel like with him, he's more of a melodic, all around artist, and just how vulnerable he was with his music, and just his personality as a person. Like I always just resonated heavily with Mac Miller. So
his music wasn't just trying to make it sound good or sound hype. It had a meaning, and the lyrics were trying to tell you something. Yeah.
Right, and to watch his growth and elevation as an artist too inspired me even more.
So we'll start with rappers, but you could also just do general music as well. Do you have like a top 3 artists or groups of all time?
Well, I have a Raider Clan tattoo. So Raider Clan has always been a big inspiration for me. A lot of people don't really know about Raider Clan, but they were buzzing around the same time. Odd Future and ASAP Mob were, starting to get buzz. So if you know Denzel Curry, he was a former member of Raider Clan. So I would say one, definitely. Of course, I have to say TDE. Absol was one of my first favorite rappers. And other than Mac Miller, I would say the third one. I don't know. That's a good question.
It's definitely a tough question.
Yeah, I've always been a Nas fan. Yeah. So yeah, we're both Virgos.
Yeah, because I've been talking to people about it, and there's just so many artists or rappers out there that it's hard to pick 3 because that's such a small number.
Right.
So for your music, for your rapping, do you think you kind of have your own flow or your own sound, or did you kind of take bits and pieces from other artists for how you sound or your flow?
I would say in the beginning, as I was still trying to find myself, I took bits and pieces from other artists. So if you listen to my first project, Chaotic, that project is more of a, I don't know, like a boom bap type of sound, or I'm just really heavily rapping.
Stay down till you come up, praying for a come up. Dollar in a dream like coke, cause I'm broken, I'm grinding to the sun up.
And because I've been singing longer than I've been rapping, but because I also wanted to be taken serious as a rapper as well, I did, my homework. And I would definitely say around that time, I was heavily influenced by Mobb Deep, Redman, Lupe Fiasco, artists like that. So I think, that kind of shined through in my music at the time. But now that I'm trying to go a more melodic route, of course, I'm taking pages out of Mac Miller's book. But I feel like right now I'm definitely more confident and more sure of myself to where I don't feel like I sound like anybody.
So for the music you've made or you've put out, do you have a favorite song or a favorite album of yours that you've put out?
Right. So as far as a favorite song, I would definitely have to say Used To from my last EP, Quran. One, I just love the message of it and just, the instrumentation. But I feel like that's the first, complete, song that I feel like I've made. Of course, I've made, a good number of decent songs. But if I had to, if I was, in a label meeting or, if I really had to impress somebody, play them one song, I would definitely play that one song. That's the song that I'm, really proud of as far as songwriting goes. And then as far as a favorite project, I would have to say Capped, because coming from my first project, Chaotic, that was the first project that I was actually intentional about pushing my sound. Because like I said, Chaotic was more of a boom bap lo-fi, but Capped was more of a, you know what I'm saying? I was experimenting with my sound a little bit, still being true to who I am though. And, obviously at that time too, I put that EP out to celebrate me graduating college. So, you feel me? I have an emotional attachment to it too.
So when you're writing a new song or a new album, what's your creative process for that? Do you get the beat first and write lyrics first, then get the beat? What goes into that?
Right. So sometimes it depends. I get a lot of random lyrics or just song ideas in my head whenever I'm driving or doing something. So I have a bunch of notes of just random lyrics. So sometimes I'll hear a beat and then I'll go through my notes to see what matches up with the vibe. Or then sometimes I hear a beat and I'll literally be, inspired to, write something new, whatever comes to my head at that time. So it honestly just depends.
Mm-hmm. So if you got the chance to make a song, it could be a rapper or a singer, anyone in the music industry. If you got the chance to make a song with anyone, who would it be?
Denzel Curry. I would say as a personal answer, Denzel Curry. As like a business answer, Drake. Drake is a no-brainer. But like I said, I have Red Clan tattooed on me, so Denzel Curry has always been one of my favorite artists as well, in addition to Mac Miller. And so to see, his evolution as an artist from when he first started to, where he is now, and he's actually seen, freestyles that I've done to his songs. So, like, he knows exactly who I am. But, I don't never want to be that artist like, okay, you know who I am now. Let me ask for a feature. I want to work my way up to be respected enough to where he has no reason to not want to work with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I would definitely say that's an artist that I want to work with.
So you definitely see yourself getting to his level or higher in the industry and getting to be a big name in the music industry.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Denzel was a perfect example of the level of success that I want to reach, because not a lot of people know who Denzel Curry is, but he's known enough to be, selling shows overseas. And I don't want to be, a super mega artist where, I'm saying, I can't go out in public and people don't know who I am.
He doesn't, it's not like unreal, his following, but he's definitely a big name, and he has blown past the point of like being able to live comfortably in life.
Exactly.
So if you have them, it's okay if you don't. Do you have a top 3 albums of all time?
Control System by Absol, Nostalgic 64 by Denzel Curry, and I can't think of the album name right now, but it's a Mobb Deep album.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at it. I think it's the blue and red cover of them, with both of their faces on it. The Infamous.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite albums too of all time.
Mm-hmm. So it showed on Rhythm and Flow your age. You said earlier you were starting to take it seriously as like a junior in college. That's pretty young for the music industry. Do you think being so young has helped you in making music, hurt you, or just kind of is neutral?
Right. So that's interesting that you say that, because I feel like a lot of rappers in the industry today, like, they're really young, like, 15, 16 years
Rappers
old.
and other genres. You see all these people like 19, 20, 18.
Right. So, like, I kind of felt like a late bloomer to, like, discovering, this is my passion. So, like, at first I was sort of, like, insecure about it. But, once I got out of my own head about it, like, I realized, a lot of artists, like Jay-Z or whoever, they don't necessarily, like, pop until they're, like, 26, 27.
Yeah.
So I feel like because I am still young, I had to realize, I might not be 15, 16, but I am still young. I'm still in my early 20s. So I definitely feel like it's an advantage for me to be starting, this early, knowing that this is, what I want to do.
Yeah. So you've already started making music. Do you see yourself making music well into the future? Like, we see artists like Eminem or other artists who are like getting into like older years of age, and they've been doing it for like a long time. Do you see yourself being one of those who continuously does it throughout a long time?
I'd say at a certain point, I would, of course, periodically drop music, because I don't think you can truly walk away from something that you're passionate about. But I do know at, some point, once I break into the industry and I'm where, I want to be as an artist, I want to kind of, venture off and, maybe get into acting or, fashion. I want to, dibble and dabble into different things. So
you're preparing to branch out and do other things, not just music.
Right, exactly.
So now we're kind of getting to when you went on Rhythm and Flow and what that experience was like. When you went on Rhythm and Flow especially, but I'm sure just generally people who see your artist name, it's American, and Chance the Rapper especially was very confused that you have a KKK in it, but it's not the like negative connotation people attach to it.
Your name's American.
Yes.
And it's spelled with KKK in there.
So what is the meaning of that in your name?
Right. So the 3K stand for knowledge and kindness is key. I definitely just wanted to take a negative and turn it into a positive. Knowledge and kindness is key.
Ah, so you're trying to rebrand the KKK?
But the name itself, of course, where it comes from, what, makes people raise, eyebrows. I definitely wanted to just use my platform to shed light on, just taboo subjects. And, with me being Black, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I wanted to just shed light on, those type of, issues and, things of that matter. So, yeah. So it's kind of both at the same time, but, more so just, taking a negative and, making it to a positive.
And so that's part of your name, but I was also like trying to find out more about you, listen to some more of your stuff before you came on, and there was something you had that also the KEN at the end of your name is also something for your like actual name. What's that?
Right. Yeah, so most people when they spell like America or American, with 3 Ks, it's like the AN, but I made it EN for Ken because my real name is Kennedy. So me being an artist, my artist name having part of my real identity within it was something that was important to me too. So
you didn't want to wipe away your real name and only have a stage name like some of those artists. So when you went on Rhythm and Flow, obviously it's not such a subtle thing. You're on a big stage. There's plenty of people with some of the biggest names in music and especially rap right now. What was that like getting up there and so early on in your music career performing in front of people like Snoop Dogg, Chance, Cardi B, T.I.?
Right. So I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely nerve-wracking. Like still to this day, when I do shows like here in my own city, I get nervous. Like I get nervous right before I get on stage, but like once I'm in that moment, I don't know. I feel like I've always been the type of person who just has heart. So I was just like, fuck it, you feel me? Like I know that I'm, sure of myself at least at this point to be able to put my own music out. If I made it all the way here, you know what I'm saying? Like once I was actually in a moment, like I was confident, and you know what I'm saying. Like
once you're on stage, all that nervousness kind of went away, kind of washed out. Yeah.
Exactly. So I was confident in what I did, but I guess you feel me, it wasn't good enough for them to choose me out of everyone else. Which
I'm sure.
I understood that.
I'm sure artists already get nervous performing in general, and so performing with those 4 people specifically in the crowd can't be much better.
Exactly. But I feel like because, you feel me, I did something that major so early on in my career, like I feel like I can perform in front of anybody now,
So as we've been saying, I'm sure that was pressure or pretty nervous to do. Did it make it even worse, like knowing that it was being filmed and put out, or did it kind of help and push you to perform better? And do you think you had a better performance from it being filmed?
I feel like I had a better performance from it being filmed because, you feel me, like I had a whole lot more to prove, because like that was my one and only shot, basically. So I'm like, oh, okay, I definitely got to show out now, and everybody's watching, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't disappoint everybody back home, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So I definitely say that motivated me more.
So, as we said before, unfortunately, after your performance, T.I. kind of broke the news to you that you wouldn't be going on.
Shelby, I think you're going to have to pay.
Do you think you should have gone on, and do you think you performed well enough to move on?
I would say yes, but I would also say no. Because, of course, the way they chopped the clip, they made it seem as if they didn't pass me through because of my name. But in the grand scheme of things, it basically was, they just felt like I wasn't ready. And that I could agree with because I was only rapping, for so many months at the time. So I think if I would have advanced forward, I probably would not have been ready. And, me looking at the artists that they did choose, you know what I'm saying? Like, they definitely deserved to, be where they were. But I was confident, in my performance. And, I feel like I could have at least, passed through at least to the next round, and maybe got cut. So I feel like I deserved the yes. But, being realistically at the same time, I can also say no.
You could definitely see in the show some of the older artists or more experienced ones like D Smoke, Flawless, Beans, they definitely went on further than some of the younger ones like you or Ariane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you have to respect that,
So I don't know how much of the actual finished product you watch, but at the end, D Smoke ended up winning the competition. Do you agree with that, or did you think one of the other finalists should have won, or someone else who didn't even make it to the final should have won?
If we're speaking on just talent, I definitely think that he deserved to win. But at the same time, too, because it's TV and it's scripted, me knowing that his ties to the industry that he has, I think someone more deserving could have won that spot, honestly, just speaking. His brother is Sir. And, you know what I'm saying, like the whole competition, they were like, oh, you should do a song with Kendrick. And I'm like, all of y'all had ties to Kendrick, including him. So, I don't know. I feel like, maybe someone like Flawless, would have been, more deserving. But, I don't know. Shout out to D Smoke, though. He is very, talented. So, I would say, just on talent, he deserved it. But at the same time, too, I feel like someone more deserving could have, had that spot. I don't even know why he was on the show.
And so, like, before the shows, you were kind of, like, either backstage or, like, in kind of another room with all the artists sitting there who would be performing. What was kind of the feeling or the vibe in that room with so much talent and so much artistry around you?
Right. It was definitely motivating because, like I said, too, like, I felt like I was the baby out of everyone. Everybody there had been rapping, for so many years. And I'm like, it was sort of like that self-doubt creeping in. Like, I don't even know if I deserve to be here around all of these artists. But kind of like what I said earlier, I took that as my moment of reassurance. So this is exactly the path that I should be on because, I was selected out of, thousands of other people who, tried to audition online to be flown out. So it was definitely, just an honor to, be inspired not only by, performing in front of, big name artists, but, also being surrounded by other artists who've been, grinding longer than I have. And it was also inspiring too because that was my first time ever in LA. And like most of the artists who I had met, they were either from LA or, Vegas or, surrounding areas. And, me being from Indiana, they're looking at me like, where the hell are you coming from? So, like, it was just, motivation overall for them to, like, learn, about me as an artist, but for me to learn, from other artists too.
And so looking at some of the episodes in the show, we saw artists do, like, rap battles, ciphers, music videos. Are there certain parts of the show you think you would have excelled in and done better, or certain parts you think you would have done worse or maybe don't have as much experience in?
Battle rap. I definitely would have flopped that. That's why I'm saying, like, I feel confident in myself to know that I could have made it far, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy that I didn't make it that far because I'm like, ooh, yeah, I had it hard. But yeah, I don't think every artist is a battle rap type of artist, So I definitely don't think that would be, a lane that I would have excelled in or a challenge that I would have excelled in. But as far as something that I probably would have been really good at would probably be the music video episode where, like, they had, their own music video concept they had to come up with. Like, I have so many, like, good music video ideas, but it's like, as an independent artist, sometimes you might not have that budget to execute those things. But if I had, the TV, Netflix money budget, like, I would have had the best music video.
Okay. And so, like, now that, looking back on the show, and back a while ago when you were starting music, if you went on again, do you think you would have done better and moved on to the next round?
For sure. For sure. Because, like I said, I was only rapping for so many months. So I would have been, more prepared, more polished as an artist, definitely.
Okay. I don't know if you can talk about it if you are, but auditions have opened for season 2 of Rhythm and Flow. If you're allowed to talk about it, or if you're going on, can we expect to see you in the second season of the show?
No.
No?
So,
okay.
I mean, I can't talk about it yet. I don't know if they're doing a second season. I know they were talking about it, but I know because of COVID, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, because a lot of the scenes you saw were in just, like, kind of clubs around each city with all the people, so I don't know what they're trying to do with that. But, yeah.
I know they've reached out to, past contestants, but, no one has reached out to me. I think it was only the artists who, made it so far. But, yeah, I pretty much got what I, wanted from it, in that moment. So I feel like, I'm just at a place now as an artist where I just want to continue moving forward. But
you kind of got your name on you and some eyes that wouldn't have otherwise seen you, and now you're going to use that to go on your own. Okay, well, those are all the questions I had for today. Thank you so much for coming on and agreeing to come on. It was a great time. Where can people find you? Social media, music, anything you do, where can they find you online?
Right. You can find me on everything: Facebook, fan page, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, all of that, at American, AmeriKKKen. And thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Christian Dior, yeah, knock, got peas at the door, yeah, 30 point gon' score, yeah, I'ma hammer like Thor, yeah, wow, sippin' some oil, yeah, water gon' boil, yeah, want big coupe Megazord, yeah, plain paddock is aluminum foil, yeah.